And we are live with yet another Faith the Nation as we are doing kind of a special live episode today where we are going to be watching Donald Trump address Congress at a very special presidential address. It's not a State of the Union, although at first that's actually something I actually just learned today, Brother Matt. How you doing, brother? Thank you for joining. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing good. I've got my pen and paper ready. I'm ready and waiting. I've got my crypto wallet ready to go. So, whatever Trump mentions during this conference, during this address, I'm just ready to invest. I'm in for a bull run in my own making. My idol, I haven't been watching my idol, Donald Trump or Elon Musk, for the past 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going through a little bit of withdrawal. I am just kidding. Of course, I've been watching them 24 hours a day. Uh, No, so I'm looking forward. Good to be with you. And
Oh man.
yeah,
But by the way, that was for all of you like Alex Y that says, "Why are we in politics again?" I did a video yesterday about the United States Crypto Reserve, as that is the news. It was the news over the weekend. I did want to cover that because it is, I think it's relevant for us. And what did we see throughout all the comments is, oh my goodness, I can't believe my favorite YouTube channel has done this and I'm unsubscribing and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And my thought process behind that is, well, I mean, what is the scriptural basis that states that we shouldn't be talking about world news or current events or what our government is doing? Should we basically, and this question for you, Matt, should we just go and live in the wilderness and eat locust and honey and grow out our
well,
hair and,
it's the government has mandated a clear separation between church and state. I mean, we're supposed to just have a zero political, apolitical position, sit in our church pews, be good lemmings, and whatever the media dictates as the status quo, we're supposed to gobble that down hook, line, and sinker, jump on one bandwagon after the next, throw discernment out the window, and let's trust the voice that we happen to hear the most, that we watch, that we don't really watch. I don't know, but I will say that, the touch on the crypto stuff a little bit. I mean, man, I feel like a hypocrite some days because I don't know what's going on, but it's like one day I'm like, yeah, everything looks great, and then next minute I'm like, what are you, an idiot? This is crazy. I mean, I wasn't really all. I was honestly, bro. I mean, I've really been going through the heat of it between the crypto profits, and everyone saying invest here and invest there, and then what's the stuff I've been investigating with Elon and everything regarding his babysitter, which has just thrown me for a loop. Man, I wish I could just stick on one side and just stick with it. But unfortunately, I've got my own brain and I'm doing my own thinking and my own internal thought processes and doing my own evaluations and not leaning on anybody else's understanding except for my own ears and eyes. I really didn't like Donald like mentioning short-term trading symbols, like XRP and SOL and ADA. I mean, it just felt really cringe. It felt like we were just giving him, just giving the left ammunition just to go crazy with. I don't see any wisdom so far in like not giving these people ammunition to attack us with. But I'm wrong, and I'm gonna end it in 20 seconds here because what did we just hear today? We heard that Zelensky is cowering, right? JD Vance went and
Yeah.
she spoke with Sean over at Fox News and says you should have heard that meeting before you stepped into the Oval Office. So I'm just trying not to be tossed to and fro of my own opinions.
Yeah, so in regards to the crypto thing, and I saw somebody commented, "Cryptos for losers." And look, I mean, I guess, look, I'm not going to take offense by it that if you think it's for losers, but
Is loser the new coin? Loser coin? Let me look it up real quick. Loser coin.
yeah, it's trending right
I'm
now.
going all in.
Yeah, like I think it's just really about like your conscience. Like I mean, there's scriptures that talk about investing in Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 2, Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 6, even Matthew 25 in the parable of the talents. The the servant with the one talent, what did he do? He buried his talent. And what did the
Hodl.
yeah, what did the Waddle, what did the servants with the 10 talents do? Well, he doubled it. What did the servant with the 5 talents do? He doubled it, right? What did the servant with the 1 talent do? He buried it. He hodled it. And then when the master came back, he basically unburied it and gave it back to the master. And
Why didn't you invest in Bitcoin, you worthless
that,
servant?
yeah, that's thank you, Matt. That's the one that the master actually rebuked. Right? He said, "Why didn't you at least put it in the bank so it can collect interest? Right? Why didn't you at least invest it? And so that this way I would have come back and you would have given me my talent back with a little bit of interest on it." And he called him a wicked servant. That was the one that was going to get thrown in hell. And of course, I'm not saying that Jesus is actually going out and saying to invest in Bitcoin or anything like that. But so look, I'm not. This ain't a finance. I'm not. We're not financial advisors here.
And
Definitely,
we're not just saying that because we don't want to get sued. We're truly,
we're
truly not.
really not. Right? I
Alex,
don't.
I don't think I ever gave you the full picture. You know when my past, not pastor. I use the pastor as a title of respect. But this brother who helped disciple me got me into crypto scams. About a year and a half ago, I don't know if you remember. I
Yeah.
actually knew there were scams. I was putting money into it just to test him, literally. I started a YouTube channel called Way Too Good to Be True. I tried to have some integrity with it. Bro, there's been so many times I've been in this crypto thing, I've been in the stock market, and I've lost myself in it because I feel like I'm living in a casino day in, day out. So it is a giant warning. You definitely do have to check your heart. And you have to check it and you evaluate yourself every day if you're doing any type of investment stuff because it takes over your life, just like politics will take over your life, just like lying and any form of sin
Just
will
like
take over your
anything,
life.
video games, just like anything in life, your
Yeah.
work, your job. I mean, anything could become an idol, right?
Bro, I
And
was depressed the other day. I was so depressed. I was so angry. I was accidentally like I was saying not nice things
because it,
come out
because
of my
they, because
mouth
because it was plummeting, because it was tanking,
because
everything was tanking.
no, because it was going up. Because it was
Oh,
going up.
that was
Because
Saturday,
I a
or
fear of missing out. I have such a terrible, dreadful fear of missing out. So, and the FOMO and all that type of stuff. I mean, I've been through emotional roller coasters, so I get it. But man, I
well,
don't
that's one.
trust
That's one.
myself.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was saying in the video, is that, I mean, you can't be emotionally tied to it, right? You can't. I mean, and it's hard, right? Because you are investing, so you are vested, right? But you can invest financially, but you don't want to be invested in it emotionally because that's where you'll get wrecked. And I've been wrecked. I've been there,
Yeah.
done that.
And you
Um,
also don't want to be wrestling with God. Because of me not going in, like Brandon, the last day's prophet, bro. Because of my last season of crypto degeneracy, where I don't even add up how much money I lost or benefited because it causes me too much strife. But I've actually have in a season now where I'm it's caused me to despise prophecy more than I ever have, and it's always something I struggle with for the past, like, since the beginning of my birth in Christ. And I'm like I'm not wanting XRP to go to the moon because I didn't
oh,
invest,
XRP is
right?
going to the moon.
I'm not wanting it to. So I find myself like at war with the prophets, and because I didn't get in at 50 cents like I wanted to, should have, but because of that last season, didn't want to trust the prophets who led me astray previously. Oh, it's just been an emotional roller coaster. So I just say all this to say that you're right. And a lot of people who are sensitive to it, but I'm mindful from the journey. I literally gained 70 pounds during my whole last crypto degeneracy phase. You know what I mean? God.
Somebody said that crypto is just a pump and dump only, but I would say, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that maybe that was true at first, in its infancy, but I think now it's actually gaining a lot of traction and actually having value. And when we start talking about coins like XRP, that actually has real world application. Um, and that's why I say that one is going to go. I believe that one's going to go to the moon. That might. Well, it just depends on the market. It depends on what happens, but
Why?
I think
For the last
eventually,
10 years we've been it's the stupidest coin that exists. No one in
which
the
one?
crypto space likes XRP. No one likes that centralized coin. It's got the market cap is ridiculous. There's like 30 billion coins out there. Only reason people are liking it is because Brandon, last day's prophet, has been pumping it. And I got to believe that he's really hearing from
No,
God
I,
because he's a
I wouldn't
former
say that that's the
janitor.
only reason why it's pumping. It's not because I mean, most people that are in crypto aren't Christians. Most people in crypto are not watching Brandon.
Nobody in crypto likes it, man. No old school OGs of crypto have any respect for Stellar, have any respect for XRP. It's always been seen as the centralized version of the status quo of crypto. It's been seen as like the takeover. Bitcoin and Ethereum are seen as true decentralized contenders, and that's seen as New World Order type of currency. I mean, that's the reputation it's had this whole time. So as they're coming out and they're pushing it through prophetic words, oh my gosh, it's just it makes me sit there and say you're a false prophet, and I bite my tongue and I'm slow to speak, but such a war goes on within me and all this. So I just say this all to say, oh God, I mean, 4 hours he allows XRP, Solana. I mean, if you know about Justin and Solana, like Justin spending $13 million on like a burrito or something. I mean, and then you got Cardano. What a piece of crud coin, right? And then 4 hours later, oh yeah, I'm good with Bitcoin. I'm good with Ethereum. Bro, I don't want to be a trader turning on Donald Trump every 2 seconds, but this guy has just been irritating me. And now you just turn on the news all day, and they just got more attack dog weapons. You got Peter Schiff saying that we needed congressional investigations. I mean, can you give us a breather? But he might just be a master artist. I mean, look at
Well,
Zelensky coming around. I don't know.
well, look, I mean, obviously, Donald Trump, I think, with the crypto reserve that's going to be coming, um, obviously, I think Donald Trump knows that if he mentions something, he can have a big impact into, whether there's a big pump or whether there's a big dump. And I think we actually saw that. We saw that on Sunday when he mentioned this crypto reserve that is actually going to be now begin to move forward, and especially on March 7th, there's going to be a crypto summit at the White House featuring some major crypto investors, CEOs,
Who, just
and
so you know, they're all degenerates. I know everybody in the crypto community. They're all godless people. They're all degenerates, just surrounded by prostitutes all day long. Not a single one of them do I know who's a righteous soul. I swear to you. I mean, I'm talking about top of the top of this whole crypto world.
oh, I
And yeah,
believe you.
I
I
gotta
know.
get in bed with all this. I mean, and then I got a pastor online saying, oh, if you'd only listened to me, you would have paid off your mortgage already. You, you, listen to you. You got me into 50 grand worth of scams. What credibility do you have? What, you lost your mind?
Who are you talking about? You talking about that Brandon
I,
guy?
no, not Brandon. Another brother who I'm just,
Oh,
don't want to mention his name. I'm not
well,
against him. I
look,
like him.
you gotta be, again, you can't get in it, emotionally, and it's not. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, enough about crypto. We got a lot going on so far. I mean, you did mention that Zelensky has basically now played, the sorry game that, oh, I messed up at the White House. And so that's actually a developing story that's going on right now. It's actually rumored that there is actually now a mineral deal that is actually going to be done after that debacle that took place on Friday. I think it was
With
Friday.
Russia,
Was it Friday?
right?
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
know.
no. With Ukraine. Well, yeah. Well,
Well,
that's the other side. Is that
well, there's been an
there's going to be a
offer
mineral
from
deal with
Russia.
Russia, and now there's going to be a mineral deal with Ukraine. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Let's see.
Yeah.
So basically, this is what happened. He says, Volodymyr. Let me just Volodymyr Zelensky says, "I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. None of us wants an endless war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer." Remember, that's what Donald Trump said. He said, "Don't come back unless you want peace." Right, and so now here he comes. This was literally earlier this morning. And so he says, my team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. Now, really quick, the reason why this took place was because yesterday Donald Trump says that is cutting all military aid to Ukraine. Yesterday, he said it's done. I'm stopping it. And this morning, that's the tweet that we get from Vladimir Zelensky, basically saying that now he's ready for peace. And so this was an ongoing story all day. Um, Basically, he says our meeting at Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation communications to be constructive. Regarding the agreement on the minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it in any time and in any convenient format. We see this agreement as a step towards greater security and solid security guarantees. And I truly hope it will work effectively. And so this was breaking out of from this morning, and this was confirmed. We have leading report that was confirming it. We have Bricks News that was confirming that Zelensky was ready to work with Donald Trump. And this was just a little bit ago. Ukrainian president says he regrets what happened at the White House and calls to strengthen relations with the United
Будете
States.
силу йти далі,
Of course,
поважати
got to
одне
be a tongue
одного, як
interpreter
ми завжди
to be able to confirm
поважаємо
that, but I'm
Америку.
confident that that's what actually
Are
took
you
place.
are you talking about this guy?
Who?
I'm
Who?
trying to add this guy.
Со мной вечно мело, чьи-то взгляды прячем свои лица.
Come on, Matt.
You know
Come
that's
on, Matt.
Zelensky.
That
You
I
know that's
know,
Zelensky.
I know, but nobody wants to see that on here.
You know, I just saw those last videos in the last couple of days, remembering who this guy really is.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, yeah. We said, "What in the world?" From Stephanie says, "What in the world, Matt?" Okay, but anyhow, so Zelensky seems to be ready for a deal. In addition to that, it's actually being rumored that that announcement is going to be made in tonight's presidential address to Congress. And so that is something that remains to be seen. We'll find out. We'll see what Donald Trump says about that. But that's a developing story. So as it comes in, we'll definitely try to report on it. But that being said, before we move forward, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Number one, with Sister Taylor, who's a regular to the channel, regular to the show. She actually makes her own soaps right from her home. And we're going to play that commercial for you guys. Discover the purity of nature with our handmade soaps, crafted with love in a Christian-owned business. We use only the finest ingredients, infused with organic extra virgin olive oil and organic unrefined coconut oil. Our soaps are free from harsh synthetic ingredients that harm your skin. Embrace the gentle touch of nature on your skin. Experience soaps that nourish, cleanse, and respect your body's natural balance. Hey, Sister Taylor's His Daughter Soapery. Pick yours up today. Support your sister. She's a Christian-owned business owner, and she makes her own soaps. You need soap. Hopefully you need soap. We need soap at our house. We have some in our house, and it's works really well. That being said, moving forward, looks like we've got, let's see, this. Oh yeah. This brother says that he is out. He's going to watch preaching about repentance. God bless you, Christian. We'll see you on the next time. Amen. Okay. Let me see what else in the news that's happened other than the crypto stuff. Let me see. And do we have Matt? Do we have any Doge news recently?
I honestly haven't been following things the last couple of days. I got myself a 3D printer and I've been printing crosses nonstop, watching the 3D printer. I've become, my new addiction is watching the 3D printer move. Um,
So you're actually making those.
yeah, these are all being made. Yeah.
Okay. So then
Got
we're
got some new variations in the works, but I'm also trying not to burn down my house in the process.
does that sister that's a from a sister, right? Correct? She makes them or
She does the designs for them. Yep, that's for Liza.
oh, that's Liza.
That's
She makes
Liza.
those.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Does she have
Yeah,
like
she.
what does she have? Does she have like an Etsy store or something?
We're going to. We're trying to ramp up, and she made this cool like it's a cell phone holder that she found that actually amplifies your cell phone. It's got a bunch of crosses on it. So we're printing all the various things, and I've been getting persuaded by that. Plus, man, I'm telling you that whole deal that Brother Brent brought up about Elon's babysitter really struck me for. I'm sort of in left field because of it. None of it adds up anymore. But it's disillusioned me so much. It's I watched a 3 hour Joe Rogan with Elon. You saw that, right? Did you watch it?
Uh, I mean, I don't watch Joe Rogan. I just
With Elon? Well, with
I mean,
Elon.
I did see that Elon was on Joe Rogan recently again.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like it seems like Elon Musk is on there so often that like when I see it, I'm thinking like, oh, is this a clip from like you know 2 or 3 months ago or whatever?
Right.
Because he seems to be like a regular guest on his show.
Well, they're friends in real life, so you can see how casual they are. But yeah, I watched all of that. Didn't see anything developing. Like I said, that where I'm at right now is I should be able to go to Doge.gov and get as much as what I need. But Doge.gov is just essentially a clone of the Doge Twitter page. People. I see people online still going after a lot of these Doge employees, like Data Republican, and they're saying, I guess Data Republican, who's working over there in Doge, actually is fully blind, fully deaf, and nonverbal on the autism spectrum. And so the left's been like coming at him in this aggressive way, and he's like, "Guys, I'm completely deaf and nonverbal." You know? He like removes their ammunition. It's like, so and I never struggled. I never struggled a day in my life. I can't even hear you.
Yes,
So no, I sort of been out of it.
that's okay. Oh yeah, we had some really big news that came out today, or was that yesterday? Actually, it was yesterday. Donald Trump had mentioned the tariffs that were going to start, and it seems as though now we are basically
Goodbye,
entering into a
Canada.
tariff war, and the 25% tariffs have, I believe, it starts today. I think. But nonetheless, we've had a lot of things coming in as far as the tariffs that actually began to drive the market down. We see that the stock market began going down, as that's expected. The crypto market was definitely tanking, as you had mentioned, and that's the difference between the stock market, the crypto market. Crypto market is just so much more volatile.
The crypto market, I could give you a conspiracy on that, but you saw the videos where like the Canadians are throwing away all their liquor, all
Oh
their American bought liquor. I'm like,
yeah,
great, our great at least one of our sin exports is being eliminated.
yeah. Get
It's
rid of the
just,
alcohol, right? Look, tariffs is a good thing. It got
bro,
rid of
this
the
is
alcohol.
hard. This is so hard to be fair and balanced, but so much action and so much momentum and so much movement, so much pioneering happening. It's like, really got to adjust myself for every pivot and every turn here. I think it'd be quite easy to go along with something that I disagree with, but 25% on tariffs on Canada, raised the tariffs on China from 10 to 20. I think, I'm just so used to only having trust in the Lord. It's like Trump put on his website detailed policies of what he was going to be doing, and now he's stepping into things that he didn't say he's going to be doing. And I'm having to give him benefit of doubt and trust, and I'm so uncomfortable doing that. But I guess it's just the game that we're in now. You know, over $1 trillion, over $1 trillion. The crypto market was at a $4.2 trillion market cap, and as I was looking earlier, I think it's like 3.2 trillion. $1
No,
trillion
no, no.
out.
It's at 2.7.
Oh my God! Do you understand?
That's a
Do you
lot of money.
understand?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
so the conspiracy, and not that who cares about conspiracy and everything, but what the left is going and saying that biggest pump and dump ever, gotta be investigated, investigate it, you know. And the other side of it is like, well, it's the powers that be who have been involved in pumping the crypto markets and the crypto future markets and such, that they're causing this reaction or to make Trump look bad, right? I don't even know, man. All I know is that those posts could have been made, and I hate it's such a big deal, to be honest, because I can't stand that we're not trying to baby the left and trying to like coddle them and nurse them along to seeing our perspective, just like browbeating them, beating them across the face, giving them one attack point after another. And if that's what the motive is, great. But it's sort of like what I said last episode. I don't think that this administration, and I don't want to say it like that, but I don't think they're really thinking about how these people are being lost when we give them so much ammunition to restate their premise that he's Hitler, that he's the bad guy, he's trying to destroy America. I feel like we should be a little bit more strategic and wise in how we communicate and what we communicate and when we communicate, to sort of like nurse them along. Do some really great things, you know, that you can sort of boast in before jumping to all these all this extra. I mean,
Well,
I just still can't believe the president of the United States is like, he's not even putting the full name of Ethereum. He's not even putting the full name of Cardano. He's literally giving you the trading symbols. Could that look any worse, man?
Look, do we really
No,
think that Donald Trump knows about all these cryptocurrencies? No, we don't.
I don't
mean,
care.
we're just being advised.
It's just stupid.
You know?
I care about the United States. It's just dumb. But oh, I got to pretend he's a genius. Oh, he's playing 3D, 4D, 5D chess. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just getting sick of politics so quickly.
Right? That was that Glenn Beck that said that? Yeah.
No, it's what everybody says. It's like when you're on the Trump train, you can't ever say anything negative about Trump, you know?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that he's playing 4 or 5D chess or anything like that. I think he's just being him. I think he's just, you know, he has a plan, or maybe he might hear of a good idea and he says that good idea, and now it just becomes his good idea. Yeah, so this was a couple of the videos that you were mentioning. This one is Jack Daniels being removed, and like you said, at least they're getting rid of the liquor, right? At least the tariffs are getting rid of the sin that we're sending over to Canada. This is another video of all the alcohol that is imported from America into Canada. You guys can see that, right? You guys are seeing that?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm just in the process of being triggered.
Which is like oh, okay, like this is supposed to hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, that's supposed to hurt me. This was one of Canada's premier from Ontario, who basically says he's going to cancel Starlink's contract that they have. Let me just hear what he has to say.
Is off the shelves. Also, starting today, all U.S.-based companies will be banned from taking part in government procurement. Every year, the province and its agencies spend about $30 billion on procurement, alongside our more than $200 billion plan to build infrastructure. U.S.-based businesses will now lose out on tens of billions of dollars in revenues. They only have President Trump to blame. I'm also urging all 444 municipalities to do the same. And I'm thrilled to see some are already stepping up. For example, Mayor Patrick Brown in the city of Brampton and many other cities.
Okay, yeah, that's boring. So, yeah, obviously Canada is trying to retaliate back. And but here's the thing, okay, about the one thing I want to say about the tariffs is that tariffs in the short term, we're probably going to have a little bit of a problem. things are going to go up. It's going to hurt a little bit at first, but long term, Canada just can't hold on or hold out as long as the United States can. Canada depends on United States goods a lot more than America depends on Canadian goods. And so I think long term, it is definitely going to be something that will be a benefit to the United States. And part of the tariff plan is, if implemented and it's executed properly, this is actually Donald Trump's plan, whether it happens or not. But this is the idea: is that if the tariffs are implemented properly and it's executed properly, long term, we can get rid of the IRS. We can get rid of all income tax, and there will be no more income tax because America is getting all their wealth from tariffs.
Nice. So what's the plan? I'm just hypothesis wise. What's the plan? We don't buy. What do we buy from Canada? From what I hear, in the most part, is like
maple syrup.
Okay, so like, what is he trying to get out of these people? You know, what he's been articulating the whole time is that, okay, there's a trade indifference. There's a trade what's it called? A trade what's it called? Whatever, trade imbalance of some kind. Okay, like, what's the goal? What are you trying to negotiate for over here? You want them just like maybe like be strategically our allies, and when we say yes, they say yes, and then to be our yes men? Because I know the goal is not to really get them to become the 51st state. That's not a realistic proposition. So if he is trying to negotiate with them, you know, what is he? I haven't heard his ask, as her demand of what he even wants from these people.
Yeah. Anyways, we are about 8 minutes away from the address to Congress that is going to be coming up, and so with that being said, it probably might be good just to take a quick break, really quick. I'm not sure how long this is going to last as far as the speech goes, but definitely want to watch the entire speech. We're going to be listening to some key things. Definitely, Donald Trump's probably going to address some of the investments that have come into the United States. I think right now they're talking about, like, it's already over $3 trillion that companies have invested to build plants, the microchip plants from Taiwan. Some other companies, Apple is investing almost $500 million into the United States, amongst many other companies that are going to be coming in. He's going to be talking about those things. He's going to be talking about immigration and the border, surely. He's going to be talking about that. Most likely he's going to be talking a little bit about Israel and Palestine. And I'm sure he's probably going to address Russia and Ukraine. And so that's going to be coming up in a little bit. We're going to take just a quick break, really quick, maybe about a minute or 2 minutes. I'm going to play a commercial from one of our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Jesus save, Jesus save, Jesus save. Fire of the fire upon the land. Judgment of the 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 judgment. Judgment only linger. Of the judgment 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 of the judgment. Judgment only linger. Judgment of the 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 judgment. Judgment only linger. Jesus save, Jesus save, Jesus save. Fire of the fire upon the land. Judgment of the 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 judgment. Judgment only linger. Judgment of the 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 judgment. Judgment only linger. Of the judgment 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 of the judgment. Judgment only linger. Jesus save, Jesus save, Jesus save. Fire of the fire upon the land. Judgment of the 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 judgment. Judgment only linger. Judgment only linger.
Discover the purity of nature with our handmade soaps, crafted with love in a Christian-owned business. We use only the finest ingredients, infused with organic extra virgin olive oil and organic unrefined coconut oil. Our soaps are free from harsh synthetic ingredients that harm your skin. Embrace the gentle touch of nature on your skin. Experience soaps that nourish, cleanse, and respect your body's natural balance. All right, so that was a word from our sponsors. Links to their websites or Etsy account is in the description below. So please support your Christian-owned businesses. Just as I'm wearing the Jesus Saves shirt, they have sponsored us as well. And that's Brother Brent and the ministry there that they have of Jesus Saves signs. Definitely pick up some Jesus Saves signs. It's good for evangelism. Simple 2 words, and it's a simple gospel message. Also, Sister Taylor, her Etsy store is linked into the description below. You can use the promo code Faith and Nation and get 10% off. So make sure you pick yours up. We definitely like the frankincense and myrrh. That's my favorite one. I think it's almost time for me to reorder again, so I better get to that. But all right, so I think let me go ahead and pull this up here. I think actually we might be getting close to the address. Let me see where we're at here.
And during this address, we're going to try to annoy you all as much as possible by drowning out Donald Trump is giving.
I'm sorry.
So we'll try to have as much useless commentary and banter throughout it to distract you from the speech. So we'll try our best.
Thanks. Let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Here comes Trump. Here comes Trump. Gonna have fun. All right. Here he comes. Where's Trump when you need him?
No, he's not here yet.
Oh, come on. I need Trump.
So, yeah, so one of the things I would say, though, is about this is that normally on when a president is first newly inaugurated, there isn't an inaugural State of the Union address when they're first inaugurated. Now, the normal State of the Union address does take place early in the year. And so this is the normal time that you would normally get a State of the Union address. This is not that. However, what this is this is a address to Congress. So just a little bit different, very similar in fashion. But since Donald Trump has been inaugurated and because of the amount of stuff that is going on, Speaker Mike Johnson has called for this address to Congress to begin talking about basically the victories that the Trump administration has been giving to the American people. And whether you consider them wins or not, that is the purpose for this address.
Or Zionist infiltrations.
Thank you, Matt. So, in addition to that, there's been rumored that there's going to be some major protest even inside of Congressional Hall, where it's believed that there's going to be possibly some interruptions that are going to take place. I've even heard rumors about those hand clappers, those things that you
or the egg cartons.
Yeah.
Egg cartons.
You do this, and then it just starts clapping. So it's been rumored that there's going to be some interruptions. Obviously, it's going to come by, from the left, the Democrats. Remains to be seen. That's not entirely new to this type of address to Congress. This has happened in the past. I was looking it up, and it appears that there was some even during Obama's reign, when Obama was president. There were times when the Republicans were interrupting President Obama's speech. And so yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I guess
Everything Trump says and done is always interesting to see what happens. Anything could take place.
yes. All right, so yeah, so basically, just as we're waiting, I don't know if you guys can see the screen right now. There are some women that a lot of the women in Congress on the Democratic side all decided to wear pink. Now, here's what's ironic about that. They decided to wear pink because they were basically it's a form of protest to try to say that Donald Trump is not protecting women by going against women's rights and blah blah blah, this and that. When the irony behind that, here's the irony. It's either irony or it's straight up hypocrisy.
He's a womanizer and he loves women.
Well, he's protecting women whether they like it or not, right? Remember, he made that statement when he was running for office that he was going to protect them whether they liked it or not. What do they accuse Donald Trump? Oh, he's a womanizer. Oh, he's going to protect me whether we like it or not. Whether he's going to enforce his will on us. And promises made, promises kept. Yesterday, they signed a bill that was basically banning men from women's sports. And I mean, isn't that protecting women?
Banning men from beating up your
Yeah,
your
like
children.
okay,
in
yeah.
grade
Oh,
school.
wait, Democrats. I thought, wait a minute. I mean, you're wearing pink today because you're protesting Donald Trump from taking away women's rights, but yet the very Democrat men voted against the bill to ban. You know what? I think I have that. Let me pull that up really quick while we're waiting. Let me see. Let me pull this up here.
Every argument these people have is this makes absolutely no sense. They're so rabid. Man, I wish it was just a little bit easier. Like you got all these government exposures happening by Doge, and how do you buy into this narrative that that it's because of he's trying to steal your Social Security money, he's trying to get into your pocketbook? I mean, this is not an idea that you just get off the top of your head when you go to bed at night. I mean, the only way such a ludicrous idea like this can come into your mind if it's fed by your peers, conversations around the water cooler at work, and from that darn television screen.
Yeah. So this is from Rapid Response, which is the official White House Twitter page or X page. It says these 45 cowardly senators just voted against keeping men out of your daughter's sports. And of course, they're all Democrat. But all these senators, Democratic senators, voted against, in which one of them, kind of a very prominent Democratic senator, John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, voted against it. You have Warlock. Oh, I mean Senator Warnock. I'm sorry, from Georgia, who voted against it, keeping men out of women's sports. I don't understand. I just don't understand why this is not common sense. Like, why do we have to vote? Why are they voting against keeping men out of women sports?
And what are people like Bill Maher and everybody saying? Everybody's saying, it's okay, Democrats, this is the this is the hill that you guys want to die on. This is what you're choosing in order to suffer and to tell parents that, what you want for your children doesn't matter. What we want is what's going to take place. Your kids are always going to be in this sports situation is just, it was nonsensical to begin with. It's like, I think that they just want to keep us divided, and it's just what they're going to continue to do. They're always going to do the opposite of reason. Did you look at these Elon protests? I mean, look at this. Just do a profiling, staring at the faces of these people who are in the crowds. It's 90% women, and on top of the fact that they're being women, I don't want to say it. These are not the most attractive people in the world. Okay, there is a look about these people where you can sort of profile what is going on here. And it's the men, it's the women, and it's not just being in New York City, man. Oh Lord. And I honestly am starting to come to the conclusion that half of all these comments and are online and everything are fake. Like these people aren't even real. You know, it's a small little fraction of the American population. I think maybe even less than 20% of real people that are on the left, and they've manufactured a whole 30% that make it look like it's divided like this. These people on Facebook aren't real. All these fake conversations, all these leftists, all these posts that keep coming in. I mean, I click on their feed. They all have the same type of looking family pictures. I think they're lying. I think they're pretending that there's more of these crazy leftists than there actually really are.
So, in addition, this was actually just coming out to in regards to the tariffs that the United States is actually issuing towards Canada and Mexico. It says that Canada and Mexico were on the phone with the Trump administration all day. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says a deal may be announced tomorrow on the tariffs. And this is one thing that we talked about. Like these tariffs, they can be looked at as a negotiating tool to get what Donald Trump is wanting to get out of it. It could be a sense of a thing where Donald Trump uses and imposes tariffs on Canada and breaks them, and maybe they become a territory, or maybe they become the 51st state.
It's
I
never
don't
happening.
know. Um,
They don't even the people. Maybe if you can have a referendum for them to vote, that'd be one thing. But the Canadian Parliament doesn't own Canada. This is owned by Great Britain, so that's never happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, number one, I don't think that's number one. I don't think it's a good thing anyway because they're mostly liberal anyhow.
It's a
Especially
trolling. It's a joke. It just shows you how dumb people have gotten, where they really think that that's an option. They articulate that as if it's actually something that might actually be happening. It's not happening. It never will happen.
well, yeah, I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll ever happen. But I think there are going to be some people that obviously they take Donald Trump's words and they run with it. But I definitely think that it's more of a negotiating tool more than anything else. One of the things that's coming up, I believe it's next year, is the negotiations for the North American Free Trade Agreement, the NAFTA.
Right.
And so Donald Trump may be using the tariffs as a means to renegotiate and gain leverage, and even possibly bring them to the table to talk about it much quicker than next year. And I think that's probably really what's really more on his mind. Now he uses it to gaslight them a little bit, calling Prime Minister Trudeau, Governor Trudeau. He does that quite often. But it'll be interesting to see what happens if that developing story does actually take place, and we see that there's some kind of a deal that's made tomorrow, or even maybe perhaps we hear it from the speech tonight, maybe. So we'll see. But yeah, definitely something that is developing. Let's see. I don't know if this
No,
is a real.
they're bad people. We're highly triggered by homosexual antics, so we get that what he was doing was on a reality television show. It's fine, but nonetheless, just understand that you're on a Christian channel, and transsexuals dancing around, emulating transsexual behavior. It's always going to be low-hanging fruit that we can use to impute someone's character, and it's never going to stop. And that will always be with him. And every time I see him, I'm going to see Zelensky in a belly shirt. It's just the way life works.
Yeah. Don't ever play that clip again, bro.
Well, that wasn't even the clip I was trying to play. I was trying to play the other one that was even worse. Good thing that one wasn't queued up.
uh, let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I guess we'll see what happens tonight with this address to Congress. AOC, Alexander Ocasio Cortez, is said to be boycotting this address She's going to be absent. There's going to be some others that are going to be absent, but I'm not going to miss her. Let's see what else.
I just want them to be reasonable. It's like my dream has just turned into being able to have a dialogue with these people. But it doesn't seem to be happening. Definitely is not going to happen online.
Oh, bro, did you see this? Hold on, let me see.
I wish somebody would just come on to this platform and have a conversation with us. I keep inviting people, and that no one wants to come on.
Well, the problem is, brother, is that I mean, there's really no scriptural basis on which why we couldn't, discuss politics or have a Christian news channel. I mean, nobody's going on CBN and calling them heretics for telling the news, for broadcasting news. But that's CBN. I mean, they're the largest Christian, one of the largest Christian news stations in the world. But nobody's saying anything bad about them. I guess it's okay for them. But
No, I'm just fixated on the Elon thing. It's like they really think the richest man in the world cares to get access to your 42 cents in your bank account. I mean, this is really what they think. I just can't they come up with a good argument for something?
hey, bro,
It's not even like it's a fair fight.
oh, dude, it's starting. It's starting.
Oh, good.
Here it is.
Nice. This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
No, this is looks like this was Serbia, the Serbian parliament, as opposition sets off smoke grenades and tear gas.
Wow. Is that an AI video? You can't even trust anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
knows?
That's pretty wild if that really happened. Let's see.
Okay, there you have.
Man, Donald Trump looking good. Antifa protesters threatened to block President Trump's motorcade en route to
Doesn't
the
Donald
Capitol.
look good? Don
Huh?
looks good. Don looks
Have it,
good.
the president.
Yeah,
With
look at
that,
dude.
with that suit, and the black coat. Oh, he's not wearing it now. No, I like it when he wears the black coat. He's got that suit on with
Oh
that
yeah,
nice,
the big
long
black
trench
black
coat. It's just like he's like a James Bond villain. I love it.
Yeah, it must not be that cold right now. Yeah, that's PBD. Peter is not the rock. Jesus is. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah, and watching all this Donald Trump stuff does make me want to get one of these fake tans. You don't need one, but I do.
Spray tan, dude. Orange Madden. We're gonna
I
call
never
it,
had
start
one.
calling it Orange Matt.
I never had one. I want to try it out. Actually, back in my heyday of homosexuality, before I met the Lord, when I was a deviant living for my own impulses, I did play around with bronzer, but that was only like at home rubbing on. I never did one of those machines full on. But the more I look at Trump, but then again, you got Elon. Elon just like an alien white. You know what I mean? So those two are just the absolute contrast to one another.
Okay, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet.
Okay, here he comes. Yay, yay, yay.
Look at all the Democrats sitting down. Welcome back. Welcome back, Don. The Don is back.
His hair is looking good. He's got that nice spray hair.
It's looking a little bit more
yeah.
white these days.
Oh yeah, he's found the hair texture you can spray on him.
What was that one interview where he went on some interview and somebody messed up his hair? Yeah, I don't know, Elon. Ellen, 3.3 to 4 trillion. Yeah, that's crazy. Uh-oh. Careful, Don. Don't get caught up by that Jesse.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow.
Yeah,
I wonder if live streaming like this will exist when Jesus Christ is on the earth. I think all the telecommunication lines will be like destroyed, right? Satellites will drop out of orbit.
Hey, look at Schumer. Look at Schumer back there, trying like purposely not looking over there at Donald Trump. Look. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's the eye right there. You see it?
Yeah, but Schumer is worried about the demon that's occupying his chair.
He couldn't help it. Yeah, Sister Taylor, he's 78 years old. Oh. Supreme Court justices right there. Oh, that's coming from the MAGA right. You know what's bad about that is that the Democrats just can't get it the nerve to say USA, to chant USA. Like it's a bad word or something.
I don't even want to say anything bad about Democrats because it feels bad to my soul.
Right, Brother Bliss, those better be good generals.
There he is! That's my president! Yeah! Yeah!
You tell them, Don.
He can do no wrong! I love him!
Hang on, man. I'm gonna have to mute you.
Nobody can possibly contend with my street preacher voice.
Victory lap. Donald Trump, victory lap.
I don't want to say anything negative about that lady behind him to the left. La la la.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States,
Modesty. Look at her. Her whole body is clothed. Beautiful. Clothing from the neck to the toes. That's what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen.
members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow
Do the dance. Son.
citizens, America is back.
Yeah, do the dance. Do the dance.
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ!
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
That's it. I'm done. The dress is over.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence
Holy
is back,
Spirit.
and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Oh, there they are.
Tell them off!
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525.
Get him out. Oh,
On a
there it
map
was. Get
that
him
reads
out.
almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing.
This is gonna
the
be
most
good.
ever.
Heckler.
Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41 point.
How dare these scum!
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Get him out. Get him out.
Members are
Report 'em.
engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to.
No, I get
report
really
the
angry. I have to watch
restore
myself.
Order to the joint session.
Report him.
I gotta remember, I'm live on a Christian channel. I'm live on a Christian channel. I'm live on a Christian channel.
Spiritual civil war. That's right. Rebuke that man. Come out of him. Come out.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Get him out. Deport him.
Finding that members continue to engage
He's
willful
brown!
and disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the sergeant at arms to restore order.
Get him out.
Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Yeah!
Get him out.
We need to have like a flesh versus spirit meter right next to both of our heads.
Time for you to go, bud. Go.
Members are directed
Matt.
to
Right here,
uphold
this
and
for you, Matt.
maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that?
Oh,
How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way. So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Musk feels interesting.
Every day, my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization.
That's right. That's an applaud.
And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction.
When you call good evil and evil good, you'll never applaud for righteousness.
To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term. And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
Hallelujah.
And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
God forbid. I hope they enforce that at Walmart.
I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Oh, he looked over at the Democrats and said that.
And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again.
Mount McKinley again. It's in Alaska, for those of you guys wondering.
Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
No fake woke.
We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender.
Makes sense to
Very
me.
important.
Makes sense.
I ain't taking any flights. My uncle just invited me on a cruise. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere.
Really? Yeah.
You should be hired.
I just bought survival food.
Merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Quote Genesis 1:26.
2025, baby.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. 3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
Don't say it, Matt.
And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
Look at those people.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control.
They killed off all
We're
the
working
chickens.
hard to get it back.
Why we don't have no
down,
eggs.
Secretary.
There's a good reason. I can tell you a story later.
A total mess from the previous administration. Do a good
Literally got
job.
rabid chickens dropping from the sky in Pennsylvania. Birds.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
I have been enjoying the eggs that I get a lot more than I ever have before, though. I had a great egg burrito this morning.
Also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
The Biden administration killed off all the chickens. That's why.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
Democrats aren't clapping for that. They like wasting taxpayer dollars.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. GOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
I know. If you go back 10 years ago, I was against hydraulic fracking.
Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
Do not Google Elon Musk's babysitter. Warning. Do not YouTube Elon Musk's babysitter.
Hint, hint.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe.
Moon, come play with my friends,
They
Moon.
just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender.
What?
This is real.
Mice that identify as transgender.
$32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $1 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City.
The Roosevelt really is a dump.
He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning.
It's true.
You know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
And the best thing you can come up with is Elon wants your money. Losers.
And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taken back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old.
Wow.
The next person that screams, I want him to command the cameras to go right on him.
3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129.
Wow.
3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160. Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229, one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age.
That's older than the United States.
More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
That's a good thing. I mean, everybody should be clapping for that. Balancing the budget.
They should all be clapping for Doge. There's no reason not to
With that
applaud
goal in
Doge.
mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Take him on, Don. Take him on. Call him out.
Balancing the budget means getting out of debt, paying off the $30 trillion that we're in debt.
He should have his own camera on stage and take pictures of these
Have
people.
given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
Preach!
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Goodbye, demons. Good luck with eternal dementia.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
Should have never been any tax on Social Security. It's always made no sense.
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country.
Remember the 5th of November.
In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country, first term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair. On April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them.
You cancel that superstition.
If they do
in Jesus' name.
non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada. But we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer. Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies. They're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great job. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us, very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
Again, still sitting down for that one too?
Thank you very much.
I don't know, but you saw those
Since
two
taking
sitting in the
office, my
stairwell?
administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
Look at those enemies.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That's it.
Give me the power. Give me the power and I'll do it.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are two illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order? Thank you very much. All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
Witchcraft covens.
They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took, and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great, great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi, good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. 1 year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much.
Come on, I need some more drama. Start some fights.
Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest. and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Next. That's a proud dad right there. Proud dad.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Wow. He got his badge. Proud dad. Aww. See, that's a good stuff, man, you know?
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Maha.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Go get him. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl.
Dang.
Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you. Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better?
Get it out. Get it out. Report woke.
Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations.
No more Bluey.
Secretary of Defense.
What's wrong with Bluey? Bluey's bad?
Yeah. Confusing.
Since when?
Confusing.
And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference. And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets. Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places, they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it.
Panama Canal.
Just today, a
let's go
large
Greenland.
American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it, he got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes, and I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job. Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security.
Come on, Greenland.
Working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown. That when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans. But I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
The globalists left. They want war.
It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight. To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that
Still
is
waiting
where
to hear.
I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people.
Backed by who?
My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like cupcakes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean strode into the unknown wilderness and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age, these workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities, these warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world.
In Jesus'
We are
name.
going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Preach the gospel to all creation.
And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
USA. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Looks like that's it.
And then we've got people like Season Never Stops. Says we only put our trust in God, not man.
Oh, coming right up.
Here.
Thank you very much.
All right. So let me just remove this real quick. And so there you have it. That is the address to Congress from Donald Trump. It is not a State of the Union, but simply an address to Congress. And just wanted to talk real basically on some of the things that he had basically mentioned. He talked a little bit about the economy, focused on bringing back manufacturing and energy jobs with new tariffs and tax cuts, border security. He pushed for more funding and touted early immigration crackdowns. Government cuts, obviously, he did talk about Doge, slashing federal jobs and waste, and really fraud is really what was taking place in all of that. But that'll be revealed later on. Foreign policy did mention peace negotiations, specifically with Ukraine and Russia, especially after that debacle that happened on Friday. But apparently, it is looking like that Zelensky is coming back to Donald Trump and saying that he's ready for peace. And that would be something that we would want. There was a little bit of a debacle in the front toward the beginning. Al Green, not the Motown singer, but Al Green, who's a representative of Texas, he interrupted early, shouting Trump lacked a mandate, and House Speaker Mike Johnson ordered him to be removed. Yeah, tell us your take, Matt. What did you get out of all that? What was your big highlights? Some of the things that you thought.
I don't have any highlights. I don't think that it was maybe because I'm in the news all day. It was nothing just new to me. I didn't think there was anything substantial that really caught my attention. Yeah, so I was hoping that he was going to bring some forward vision, some forward initiatives, some forward recaps. Perhaps something on the Doge front that was a little bit.
You were
more
hoping he was
articulate.
going to mention crypto.
Well, no. I want to see crypto go to zero. That'll make me sleep well at night to see crypto go to zero. I like doing a little thing called working hard in my entire life, and I don't want to get into crypto. I don't want to think about it, but I just can't stand people that haven't worked a day in their life who just become wealthier than me. It just bothers me. Anyhow, but no, I don't. Whatever. Every time he gets in front of the American people, I just want to see him make a case to win Democrats to our side. Where it's like, here's the presentation of what the progress that we have been made. And I know they're wicked. I know we're never going to win them over. Just like, in Christ, when we go and preach, we're not going to win these people over. But I feel like we need to be making a case to them that's articulate. And honestly, I just feel like it's another nothing burger speech. So, cool. I love seeing Trump. It's great. But I don't know. You're going to do a joint session of Congress or something. What did he really highlight besides the U.S. aid stuff?
Yeah, let's take a look at this highlight here.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Down. All right. That was definitely a mic drop right there. Yeah, so
because Biden the whole time he was like, "Give me the power to do it, and I'll do it. Give me the power."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. One of the things in the comment section that I did want to. Oops. What is that? Is that? Oh, sorry. That was running in the background. Let me see. We had. I wanted to bring this one up. Adam without Eve had said that he's going to bring in the 7 Noahide laws by the people he's controlled by. Persecution for all who follow Christ. Now, I want to refute that because number one, Noahide laws, basically there's 7 laws within the Noahide. This is a modern rabbinic idea. It's not a biblical thought. But what that would say is that you have to believe in a God, and that's basically about it. As long as you believe in God, you let others worship. That's what's considered 7 Noahide laws. Now, one thing I would say that's false about that is we have not seen any clue that Donald Trump is advocating for anything even close to that. If anything, we see that Donald Trump advocated for having Bibles in every single home in America. we see Donald Trump confessing that he was saved by God. And we know that he is speaking about Jesus Christ. He's confessed Jesus Christ. Now, that's not to say that we say that he's a Christian, but I would say that he's definitely closer to being a Christian than anything else. What say you, Matt?
I think that until I meet somebody in real life, I don't care what channels they subscribe to. I don't. That doesn't mean anything to me for someone to self-declare himself as a Christian. I think that someone with a testimony such as Donald of being shot in the head, just like Todd White, he's got a testimony of, bullets going off right in front of his face. These are radical, life-changing moments. I don't know what's going on with Donald Trump, but the fruit that I see from him definitely seems a lot more Christian than, what I had seen coming out of the left and years of even presidents, even like a John F. Kennedy and stuff like that. Yeah, I just feel like the way that we should phrase things, if we all want to get along in Christendom, is I believe, I think. Declarative terms such as he is a puppet of Israel. He is bringing in the mark of the beast. He is, that stuff. I really take a pause with that, and I get a knee-jerk reaction from it. We're over here saying that we believe, we think that the fruit looks like X, Y, Z, and I want us to just be careful from jumping to conclusions and getting on our pulpit, because if we're wrong about what we declaratively say is the truth, you might find that we're the ones fighting against God.
Well, we're going to find out in 3 to 4 years if he does or not, and that person would probably have to change his thought process on what Trump is going to do or what he's not going to do. I just want to give a shout out to A. Taylor. A. Taylor says, I'm a Christian woman and served 15 years as a medic in the Army. After I spent 30 years with immigration as a medic, so did my husband. And I just want to give a shout out to you and say thank you for your military service. Thank you for your service to Christ and serving people. I know there was a little bit of a discussion in the chat talking about should Christians be in the military? Yeah, and somebody was basically talking about they said the early church didn't believe in that, and while I would say that may be true, I don't know. I haven't studied that this topic out as far as our early church stance on that, but even if that was true, I would say that the early church was probably mostly under the Roman Empire, and they probably would not have wanted to be a part of the Roman system. Now, fast forward to about 2,000 years from that, we've had the opportunity for Christian values to be implemented within society and even within governments. And so about 250 years ago, if America is being founded upon, even if we disagree on who they are, who founded the nation, we would have to at least agree that Christian values are embedded in the United States of America, and the building blocks of the United States of America is based upon Christian principles and values. And so, with that being said, I mean, if we just take Romans 13, the Bible talks about those who are rulers that bear the sword or bear arms, that they are not rulers to what does it say? It says they are not. It says they are not rulers against evil. No, against good. They're not rulers against good, but against evil. And talking about, you want to be unafraid, then do what is good, for they do not bear the sword in vain, and they are God's ministers to execute wrath upon them who practice evil. So I see that people that are in the military, Christians, Christians that are police officers, I see them, if they are not bearing the sword in vain or bearing the arms in vain, then they are God's minister to execute wrath upon them that practice evil. And so, I support our military. I support our police, those that are looking to do what is righteous and executing righteous judgment, because we need it. We need the law to be upheld. We
Let me ask
need
you.
what's that?
Let me ask you on that topic. If you wanted to divert that topic, because I have an extended family that I call that family my sisters. Family who I've grown up with and stuff like that. My mom's best friends when they're growing up, and their children are. I love them like my nieces and nephews. And so my nephew Adam went into the military, and I mean, from Uncle Matt, he didn't hear anything but, "Please don't do that. We shouldn't do that," so on and so forth. So I would ask you, if your son said, "I want to join the military," what advice would you be giving him?
Man, you know what? I've actually been thinking about that. Obviously, I would want him to be saved. Number one. I would want to make sure that his allegiance is to Jesus Christ above all. Um, it would be a very honorable thing. Now, obviously, I would have to deal with the fact that he's going to possibly put his life on the line, and
Or possibly have to kill others. I mean,
or
that's
possibly have
the
to
real part.
kill others. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah. I mean, obviously, look again. I would want him to be fully surrendered to the Lord. Um, and I would want him to be filled with the Holy Spirit. I would want him to be born again. And so, why? Because he can't bear the sword in vain. And, in the military, they train you to kill in the military.
right.
They train you to survive. They
Absolutely.
train you to kill. They train you to defend the
Right.
country. They train
Right.
you to
They change who
combat.
you are.
What's that?
Right. They change who you are.
They
Absolutely.
can. They can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that can happen. I think a lot of people that maybe join the military, maybe they might want to just join to kill people. See, and that's somebody that would bear the sword in vain. That's not God's minister to execute wrath on them that practice evil. But the one that is not bearing the sword in vain, in other words, they're doing it for God, for country, for to protect, for freedom. That's I would say would be justified under the Romans 13 clause, just like a police officer who is really doing it because they want to serve their community. Um, that would be somebody who's covered under the Romans 13 clause. But obviously, look, we got bad apples in every bunch, right? You've got you got people that just want to get some type of an authority and abuse their authority. That's not God's minister. And God is going to know that individual's heart. If it was my son, again, I would just say, like, I would want to make sure that he's born again, that he does have the Spirit of God, and that would be tough,
I'd
man.
say? I'd say, "Oh, hey, come over here for a second," and then put a pair of handcuffs on him. There's the railing. Handcuff him to the railing and say, that's not happening. Okay,
Yeah.
you're going to stay handcuffs here until you change your mind. I'm going to put the audio Bible on and go to bed. We'll see how you feel in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough question, because God bless the military, all that type of stuff. I struggle with it. I know that from an early age, I would have a really difficult time from a recurring dream that I had when I was young, even practicing self-defense, with a weapon. So I think I come from a lot of bias, and oh Lord, I mean, you look at the Bible, it's just, especially in the Old Testament, it's enough to make me. There's no shortage of murder, or I forget the word murder, but whatever. Not to get into that argument. Yeah, there's no shortage of nation rising up against nation under the name of God, and God using one nation to rise up against one another. But as for me and my family, I don't want anybody to experience shedding blood or have to go through that mentality of forgetting it, getting that out of your head, and sometimes the escapist policy that you might have to deploy in order to live with yourself based on what you've done, even when doing it with the quote-unquote right motives, so on and so forth. But what would the world be without a military? Maybe Someone's always going to have a military, right?
Well,
Doesn't
that's what I
matter.
was going to say. I was literally just going to say that. I mean, everybody, there's always been militaries, and
That's why I don't read the Old Testament. So
well, the reason why there's always military is because, I mean, we live in a fallen world, right?
right.
And look, even God has a military in heaven. Right? He's the Lord of hosts, right? He's the commander of the army of the Lord. And so he has an army. We live in a spiritual warfare. I mean, that's who we are. We're in Christ. We are warriors. And so, I mean, our spiritual. Now, of course, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness in the heavenly places. So, but we are soldiers. I mean, the Bible calls believers to be soldiers, and we are to fight a warfare that is currently going on. And we know that whatever happens in the physical is already taking place in the spiritual. And so, of course, there's going to be physical armies, and there's going to be a physical warfare, because we already know that's going on in the spirit. But obviously, when Christ comes back, there's going to be another war going on. And Christ is going to come back, and he's going to destroy the armies that go up against Israel in the last battle. And then he will rule from Jerusalem. And at that point, I would say that the live is cut. Is the live cut? Let us know in the comment section. Matt, you still there?
We talk about the military, and they cut our feed.
Hold
I
on.
don't know. I don't.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, let us know in the comment section if we're still on. It's not cut. So, I forgot what I was saying, but the last battle. That's when
she wishes the live was cut.
Yeah, yeah, Thank you, honey. So the last battle, that's when I would say that wars will begin to cease, when Christ is ruling from Jerusalem. But until then, there's going to be war. There's going to be, unfortunately, right? I mean, it's just a reality that we live in. And so, but I definitely give my due honor to those who serve in the military. I just say thank you for serving in the military. I thank you for those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country. It's man, it's definitely a tough topic to think about, especially when you're talking about.
Is that one of the? Is that like one of the gifts that we get, like the gift of giving? So if you have the gift of giving, then give. Well, if you have the gift of being murderer, then murder well. I don't know. It's really, I think it's like a two-faced thing, because it does exist. It always has existed. It's sort of be interesting to get somebody from who I knew was born again, who bore good fruit, has got a great testimony, who I know is rooted in the Word, but that they obviously have joined the military, chosen to go to war, have killed, and sort of get their perspective on it. I don't think I have any right to speak on the topic because I have very much a pacifist perspective. I just know where I would play, what role I would play. Personally.
Well, all of my uncles on my dad's side, including my dad, served in the military. My uncle served in Vietnam. They served in Desert Storm. They served in the war in Panama, actually. And so I have a long family history of at least, from my uncles, which I guess I am.
That explains it.
I guess I am second generation American. So obviously my dad is first generation. He served in the Marine Corps. In fact, all of my uncles, they served in the Marine Corps. And so I do, again, I have a soft spot for those that serve in the military. It's not a pretty thing, what happens in war. And I think it's definitely a sacrifice. But Zoblin is asking the question, this is a little bit off topic. Do you believe that Christ will return before the mark of the beast or after? And that's a definite after. Definitely, he returns afterwards. The mark of the beast is going to basically bring in the Antichrist reign, and Christ comes after that. So most people in Christ's forgiveness are post trib, meaning that we believe in a post tribulation rapture and a pre-millennial reign. In other words, Christ is going to reign upon the earth for 1,000 years right after tribulation. So that's kind of where we most of us would fall into.
Because we love persecution.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's basically it. Donald Trump did. I don't know. I think he did pretty good. I mean, you might think it was a little bit of a big nothing burger, and maybe it kind of was. It's
Hey,
kind
it's
of
cool. It's not like they made a setup saying we're making a crazy announcement tonight. I love seeing as much of transparency, as much of the president as I can. It's just it's a breath of fresh air. So I didn't have any expectations. You know, I guess it's a
there
week
was
of waiting
supposed
for
to be
this
some kind of
Epstein
a
stuff.
surprise. Yeah,
Were they saying that? It's like this Epstein stuff sort of has me disgruntled. It's like, yeah, huh? Where's the files? I want to see the files. As
well,
the
I
1,000
think
pages are
with the
coming.
files though, I think with the Epstein files, here's what I think though. If they are getting some names that are big time names that might be on this list, and there might be evidence of it, I think they have to go about it kind of. They got to be kind of slow about it, about releasing those names, because if they are planning on doing some type of arrest, especially if they're high profile names, then you can't just be releasing those names and tipping people off, right? You
Well,
got to
and we
be
gotta be
a
patient.
little more
We gotta be
discreet.
patient anyways because we do have news, that the southern state of New York, that the FBI our FBI went into the FBI field offices over there and forced them to disclose all the documents that they had. I mean, that's a pretty big win as is. So I don't think there's too much to say, but it's been a week of they set that standard. This is coming. It's being released tomorrow, and it's like, oh, what is this binder? That binder's no more than what we've had. So I guess day by day we just see what's happening here. Still want to see things materialize. I would have like a big reason to put on a joint address of Congress would have been, ladies and gentlemen, we have found complete and total evidence of treason within the United States. What you have seen over the course of the past 3 weeks of what Doge has been doing has culminated in these documents, which I now hold in my hands. Official evidence of those people on the right, on the left side of this aisle. Now, I have 12 names of those people who will be indicted tomorrow morning for treason, etc. It's like I'm always looking for this big thing because I know the evidence is there, and let's just wait and see what happens here.
So, if there is treason, historically, treason is punishable by death. I wonder if they found treason worthy enough. I wonder if they would actually follow through with that. And that would be the other topic then too. Is the death
As long as I don't gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, is the death penalty? Is that number one? Is it biblical? Is that, or is it justifiable? By the word, and
I'm against it. What I would do is I always said, this is going back from my conspiracy days, is I would put them on an island, and then I would videotape the island like a Truman Show where anybody can watch it 24 hours a day, and that would be a learning lesson, right? Now, there was another part of me during that phase which was like, okay, I'm going to cut all their heads off, and I'm going to put their heads on top of the bridges, and so everyone would see their heads. So I went back and forth in this mentality, but in my Christian heart, I'd like to keep those people alive and then allow us to see how wicked they are, so that we look at them and say never again, rather than killing them, and that's why it's best just to go with whatever the Bible says, right? Even if it's harsh, who cares what I think? Who cares what my imagination says, But I think on these topics it gets a little bit. I don't think it's complicated at all. Jesus says, "Turn the other cheek." I really don't care what the Old Testament said about it. I mean, he has the final word. He's the true fulfillment of Scripture. And if he didn't say that, I wouldn't
Well,
be
let me
trying
ask
to
you this.
live it.
Did God issue out the death penalty in the New Testament anywhere?
Well, once that I know of in the book of Acts, it just seems, you know.
Ananias and Sapphira.
Yikes.
And what did they
And
do? They
fear
lied.
filled,
That was it.
and
They
they,
just lied.
yeah.
That was it.
And what was the result? Scripture also says, and the body of Christ was filled with fear. I don't know how to quote it, but they were filled with fear, right? And fear gripped them, you know. And I fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. Man, I need some fear, more and more fear. That's one of my prayers always is they get so casual with God, you know. I'm not against anything God does, you know what I mean? Like I said last week, if he starts slaying puppies, it's like whatever. But I want to watch myself, and I just want to watch what other people are teaching other people to do and everything. And you know that that commandment and the opportunity. When he told them in Luke chapter 10 to go out, you know, don't take any swords with you, and then later again he told them to take the swords, you know,
Yeah.
and then chop off an ear and he puts his ear back on.
Well,
I think
look, I mean, I think like I think there is some like reason for self-defense. I believe in self-defense. In fact, I think that self-defense is justifiable biblically, especially if you are backed up by your local state laws or laws of the land. So I do think that you know, turning the other cheek was not, that was definitely not talking about a situation of self-defense. That was talking about more about like a prideful situation. And then
I don't know. It sort of is self-defense. It's like, hey, give me your tunic, you know what I mean, or whatever. It sort of seems like someone's challenging you, slapping you in the cheek or whatever is going on. It seems like a measure of self-defense, where he's
yeah,
saying,
yeah, no,
don't practice self-defense. Do the opposite. You know,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that in my
yeah,
life,
that would
I
be
have.
yeah, that would be like the pacifist stance. People that would hold
I
to
guess
that.
that's why. That's all my heart speaks. I know. That's all I got on it.
Yeah. So I
You
mean, you
know.
know, I think perspective changes though. You know, especially when you have family, especially when you have like you know wife and kids.
Yeah.
Um, you know, those types of things. You know, you begin to think things, you know, a little bit differently. But you know, again, I don't think that's what Jesus was saying. And you
I
know,
guess I'll
maybe
never be president. I'll
that's
never
okay.
be president, you
Well,
know,
that would be
because I wouldn't
that
be
could be
able to
actually
say
a
the word.
topic for you know Faith and Nation. We could do a topic, or maybe I could do a video talking about you
Well,
know.
I'd like to get someone who is in the military. You know, like if we do that, we should get somebody that's not, you know, like me, but somebody who, you know, we trust as a brother who, you know, great fruit. And you know, I'm not actually joking about like that gift. You have the gift of this, the gift of that. Like you know, I don't want to say it that way, but perhaps a gift of being like a general, or a gift of being a commander, or a gift of having that, you know, that hard position to do that type of thing and see where they weigh in. Because I just know that I'm a limp-wristed, totally on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So I don't have much to contribute, except for what Jesus said, which to me is sort of,
Yeah, well,
sort of.
and then just like you know, when we're talking about the death penalty too, like I mean, what do you do with somebody who's you know a serial killer, unrepentant serial killer? Like you know, I think that a society, like I think there's an opportunity for forgiveness, but there's still a need, or there's room for that individual to even be repentant but then still have to pay his price to society by being executed. I see both as um, that there's room for both within society.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't see how society could work. I see it logically. Just, you know, I see it logically, but I don't see it according to, you know, according to the scripture that way. But again, I intentionally stay out of the Old Testament. You know, and I don't. I feel shameful about it. It makes me question myself a lot because I just don't relate to any of it. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Every time I try it, you know, it doesn't end well for me in that day. It doesn't do any heart surgery for me. You know, I'm working with a guy right now who's going through deliverance, and you know, I feel bad when I tell them like he was, you know, reading the Old Testament. I'm like, well, don't do that. And like I'm of course I know the Old Testament is the fulfillment of, it's the whole picture, it's everything, but I'm just like, bro, you need heart surgery right now. I don't need you to be over there. Just trust me. And he's like, no, I've got to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. The Old Testament doesn't make me ask these, and the New Testament doesn't make me ask these deep philosophical questions. It seems pretty black and white to me.
What about Romans 1, where it says even where it starts talking about even those that approve of such things are worthy of death. Oh,
I mean,
what?
but the vengeance is the Lord's portion of all that. So when worthy of death, yes, we're all worthy of death. The penalty of sin is death. But like, who is the enforcer of that death? Is it going to be the priest who comes out and like stabs me in the jugular?
No.
I don't.
Well,
I don't know how to
what
correlate
about
that.
Again, what about Romans 13, where it says those who those who do not bear the sword in vain are God's minister to execute wrath upon them that practice evil.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me bring it up real quick. Romans 13.
Romans 13. This is good. This is good. We're seeing how the scripture plays role in society. Romans 13, verses 1 through 5.
All right. Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists the ordinance of God, and those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers who are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Do you want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister, an avenger, to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Now, who's the he there?
The ruler, the one that bears the sword, not in vain.
For he is
Now,
God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister. Now, when you bear, what does the words bear a sword? Does that
right.
mean present your sword as like cautionary, being like, beware, I am
No.
prepared to use this? Or is it like, cha-ching, off with your head?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's talking about, well, number one, what is he talking about? Governing authorities, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about the rulers of those governing authorities. So that would be people who are in position of to uphold the law, or let's say, i.e., a soldier, right, or a police officer. And if we're using modern terms, right now,
Right.
obviously, that's he was talking about people in Rome, but let's fast forward and let's use a modern, modern terms. So the rulers are the ones who are able to bear the sword, or bear arms. Let's just say bear arms, because nobody carries swords anymore. People bear arms nowadays. And I take it one step further, that according to the Constitution, if that's the governing authority. The president isn't above the Constitution. The governing authority of this land, the United States of America, is the Constitution. And so, since that is the governing authority, that is ordained by God. So then, who's the rulers of the Constitution? Well, that's every American citizen, according to the Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment. That the Second Amendment says that every American citizen has the right to bear arms, right? Not a sword. We're bearing arms now. And so technically, every American citizen, if every governing authority is ordained by God, and that for us, that's the Constitution, and the Constitution would then gives the ruler part to every American citizen, then every American citizen is if you're not bearing the sword in vain or bearing arms in vain, then we technically are God's minister to execute wrath on them that practice evil. And this is
Is this
where,
is this one of those things where they argue? Because I don't, Romans 13 is sort of like one of those things render unto Caesar what is Caesar's is the only portion I really get into that. And because it said so much, I put it in the background of my mind. But is this one of those things that goes down to the Greek nuances or the cultural explanation of bearing of swords? I don't know. But when I bring up NLT, it says, "For the authorities do not strike fear in people," starting at verse 3, "who are doing right, but in those who are doing wrong. Would you like to live without fear of the authorities? Do what is right, and they will honor you." Verse 4, "The authorities are God's servants, sent for your good. But if you are doing wrong, of course you should be afraid, for they have the power to punish you." Now, they are God's servants, sent for the very purpose of punishing those who do what is wrong.
yeah, it sounds pretty weak. It's pretty soft to me, man. That's why I don't be listening to the LNOT, man. But anyways,
Yeah.
look, why are we bearing swords? Why are they bearing swords? What is a sword for? To spank them? I mean, come on. I mean, what is a sword for?
Well, firstly, it's a deterrent, right? So, I mean, obviously,
Okay.
I'm stretching myself here, but
Yeah.
any type of weapon is a deterring force. It's also a representation of power or permission to execute judgment or something like that. We in the United States of America have the right to carry and bear arms. And then, is it concealed or is it not concealed? And obviously, if it's concealed, it says something to the people, knowing that. Let's say you're in a society where the people cannot bear arms, but the warriors can, and the king class can, the governmental rulers can. So you'd have that distinguishment that those people are the ones that have arms and are meant to use it. So I mean, let's see what the ESV says. Because I admit, I do the NLT just because it's.
Yeah,
I very much.
It helps. It helps with like modern
Well, I just,
English.
my bandwagon. My bandwagon is just I want people to fall in love with the Bible, and I find it difficult for them to do that if it's not in their native English. So perhaps I take it a little bit too far, but in my daily reading, I gotta, NLT has sort of been. But when it gets to stuff like this, I do have to go back. NLT is like I just trust it in my daily reading. I don't trust it in little nuanced details such as this. You know what I mean? Verse 4, "For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain." Right, so we're back to the sword. So they're just taking it and totally remapping that language.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so
well.
look, obviously, I understand that Romans it's written under um, it's written under a Roman authority with Roman background behind it, but obviously the Bible can be applied to modern day times. Now, we have to also understand too that the history of the church began to heavily influence society, so much so that it conquered the Roman Empire. Um, with it wasn't like Christianity in its purest form, but it did conquer Rome. Even though like I said, Constantine wasn't like the purest Christian or had all the doctrine or anything like that, but over time, the Bible began to influence even more and more and more. Fast forward to today's time, obviously now we see Christianity having a huge impact in Western civilization, especially in in America. And so, so then that we still take the principles that are written in Scripture and still have application to us in America. And so, how would that Romans 13 then apply to American citizens? Well, I mean, again,
I'm
who's
just
the
hearing in my
ruler?
head. I'm just hearing in my head the Lord put it on my heart to kill you, brother.
Oh, no.
How Christians talk sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, that's bearing the sword in vain, right? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously. And I know you're joking. But so anyways, these are the scriptures that, give me the understanding that I say, okay, I obviously nobody wants to use any kind of force like that on anybody. But at the same time, if it was between me and my family and them, well, it's going to have to be them. I mean, how, if you got somebody breaking into your home late at night, I mean, like, are we supposed? Oh, okay, well, the Bible says to turn my cheek. So yeah, there's my family. They're hiding in the closet right over there. Go get them. Like, that's
I don't
ridiculous.
know when you got like Old Testament and Lot and all that type of stuff. It's like, here, have my daughters. They're virgins. Wonderful.
All
I don't know. It
right,
gets a
that's
little
enough.
confusing. Okay.
I guess that's enough.
Let's go for 4 hours. 4 hours.
All right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
hey,
That
listen,
was
that's going
fun.
to do it. It was good talk, late night Bible talks, as Stephanie says. That's my wife. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It was definitely interesting. Thank you guys for hanging out so much. A. Taylor still hanging in there. Roger Sanchez still hanging in there. God bless you, brother. Good to see you. Zoblin, thank you guys for watching Faith the Nation, and we're going to come back at you guys with some more videos. Stay tuned. If you guys aren't yet subscribed to the new YouTube channel, please, please, please go and subscribe to the new YouTube channel. Link to that is in the description below. We're definitely trying to do some live videos on that, and we need more and more subscribers. In addition, you can follow us on X. A link to that is always in the description below as well. Thank you guys for watching. And
Oh, and also,
remember,
no, go ahead, finish.
you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and if you guys don't want to see a political podcast in the Christ Forgiveness channel, do us a favor. You're hurting our feelings. You're making us talk about it too much. Just zip it. Zip it. We don't need to hear it. If Pastor David wants to stop it, he'll cut our heads off and we'll be gone. But until then, we're going to keep doing this. So just leave us alone, will ya? Let us love Trump a little bit and keep bringing this stuff to you without constantly being triggered by, oh, what are you guys calling politics, all this stuff. We don't want to accidentally mock you. Don't cause us to, we're not trying to cause you to stumble. At the same time, don't trigger us to accidentally be like, oh, to mock you. Because like my instinct when you're saying that is just to belittle you. And I want to keep my mouth shut. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
Likewise, don't get at us just because we talk about the United States Crypto Reserve. If that's the news, that's the news. And if if we invest, we invest. Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Again, I mean, I guess people think that Christians are supposed to go live in the wilderness and eat locust and honey the rest of your life.
I'm going to watch videos about repentance.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow us. And remember, it's time to rise up. Faith in the Nation.